we should talk later, me and you, at a different juncture. All right, back to what I was doing, all right? And then we'll get to that later. Cool. And I'll do a song too, even if you want, but not right now. Because now I'm telling everybody, was what I was going to tell until we started our thing, was about how I don't really sing about, sports a whole lot, maybe a couple of times, but I don't really like them unless it's, in a gambling sense I like them. But I was going to just tell you this and just take about an hour and a half if you'll bear with me. And you might have heard me tell this story before, but just again, it'll take a minute. I will, man. That was my intention when I was doing it. Yeah, it's all right. So we're all just getting to know each other. That's it. But I was going to say to you, I had played football in high school, and most people who come to folk shows, or just most cool people in general, aren't into it, And I wasn't very into it either, but my dad really wanted me and my brother to be good at it. And my brother was good at it, but I wasn't good at it. But I wanted to please my family, so I worked hard. And by the time I was a junior in high school, I was on the varsity football team, Beavers they called us. We carried that around the rest of your life. And I'm not saying that I played, right, but I was on the fucking team. Now, just give me a second. Let me tell you, those of you that didn't play in high school, which I'm hoping is most of you, that don't know, this is what it's like if you join this team. You and 45 other guys are going to get together for about 4 months out of the year, every day for about 3 hours. You're going to take off your comfortable shit, you're going to put on uncomfortable shit, and you're going to go outside, and no matter what the weather is, raining, cold, hot, whatever it is, you're going to go out there and run into and away from each other, all in relationship to the movement of this ball, while consistently being yelled at by adults. And you don't even know what it is. My parents said I was representing our district, I didn't even know I was from a fucking district, and now I have to win it in some fashion in this outfit that is highly uncomfortable in the heat especially. Now, the other thing that sucks about this game, or the practices that they have for this game, is that they have this sled with these 6 pads on it, and the coach stands on one side of it and yells at people while 6 kids wait in line to push this thing, right? Right? And it doesn't even ever happen like in the game. There's never a sled in the game. But we practiced it, and we practiced it. And one day I was looking across the field, and there was this other group of kids that had on the same shit they'd had on all day. And there was chicks over there talking to them too. So I tapped this guy in front of me in line waiting to push something for some guy, and I said, "Who are those guys?" And he said, "Well, they're the burnouts, man." And I said, "What's a burnout?" And he said, "They hang around in the smoke pit." I said, "So, hey man, really, I'm gonna ask you one more time, and then one of us will take over. All right, please?" And now I'm being nice. Am I not being nice? Right? Listen how quiet it is. Except for us. Okay, sorry everybody. Me and my friend haven't seen each other in a long fucking time, and we're still catching shit up. But anyway, listen, I'll finish this if you want me to. So one day, I say to my coach, "What's a burnout from the smoke pit?" And he says, "Oh, Snider, man, I'd hate to see you turn into a burnout from the smoke pit." And as it turned out, I let him down. Because one afternoon, I was in the cafeteria and I recognized this kid that was clearly from the smoke pit. And I had to sit by him, and he said to me, "Snider, man, have you ever tried psychedelic mushrooms?" I said, "No, I haven't." He said, "Would you like to try some?" And I said, "Shit, yeah, I'll try some." So I ate a bunch of them, and about 30 minutes later, I knew for sure that I wasn't going to be able to go to football practice that afternoon. So instead of going there, I went with my new friend over to this other place where these other guys were standing around. It was the first time I'd ever seen from a distance that life that had been planned for me, where those kids were standing around pushing nothing. And I thought, You know, the coach had said the burnouts looked like dirty sheep standing around in a field doing nothing. But I thought, shit, so does the football team from over here. And then I looked up at the goalposts, and the goalposts were like candles. And no one told me there was going to be shit like that. And I thought, what's this? And then they turned into Roman candles and started shooting up into the sky. And then I turned over and looked at my friends who were lined up to push this sled, only now the sled was Fred Sanford from the hit situation television comedy Sanford and Son, and they were pushing him, and he was holding his chest like it was the big one. And I was watching him. Then he morphed into Jesus Christ himself, and I thought that was sacrilegious as they were pushing him. Then he morphed into this other guy. Who could make this up? Another guy that wasn't Jesus, but wore a robe and shit like he could have hung with Jesus in the day. And I made eye contact with that guy, and he yelled across the field with me, and he said, do you have 2 10s for a 5? Or 2 quarters for a nickel? And I thought, what? And then he said, can you tell me how to get to Arca Butler? Or can you even get there from here? And it was in that moment, brothers and sisters, that I knew I was never ever going to go back to football practice as long as I was going to be alive. And to this day, I still follow Coach Moyer and the Beavers because I think this is the year we're going to win district. And more importantly, we've got the coolest goalposts in the whole fucking state.